At the University of Pretoria, we prioritize academic success and want our students to obtain the best results possible.
Our teaching and learning approach is innovative, combining technology, class time and community engagement.
The residences and accommodation at UP are known as spaces for academic excellence in every way possible,
where each student is respected and valued for their individuality.
We also ensure that we accommodate all students while providing mentorship, encouraging them to graduate on time.
As the SRC, we want you to feel safe and have access to all the resources that will aid you on your academic journey,
while finding various ways in which you can help students with academic funding or discovering student job opportunities.
We encourage an inclusive and diverse board community, ensuring you have access to world-class facilities.
Our multicultural way of life is one that values perseverance, growth, creativity and respect amongst our peers.
We welcome both postgraduates and international students and value their contribution to our culture.
Our focus is about where we come from and where we are heading.
We at UP want you to have the opportunity to develop your personal talents and skills.
We believe that as a community, we can all make a long-lasting impact in society and the environment.
The SRC upholds strong, ethical values while engaging with the students through effective communication systems.
We make sure there's full transparency in the structure of our funding for the sole purpose to benefit our students.
Remember, the UP SRC is available and accessible to assist you no matter which campus you're on.
This reflects our ethos to uplift one another in order to make today matter.
We believe in upholding ethical values and fostering responsible leadership at every level of our community.
We, the Student Representative Council of 2021, hope that you will join us in living the UP way.
Good morning and welcome, Mr. Vice-Chancellor and Principal, members of the UP Executive, deans, directors, colleagues, parents, guardians, family and friends to this, our 2021 Welcome Day, where we give a very special word of welcome to our VIP guest today, you, the 2021 students who are joining our UP family. I'm Professor Caroline Nicholson, the Registrar of the University of Pretoria, and it is my particular pleasure to be your Programme Director for this event. The Welcome Day is one of the highlights of the academic year, and I'm thrilled to be part of the welcoming process. Before we launch into the programme for this morning, let me tell you how the programme for the event will proceed. Today's programme is made up of two parts. The first will comprise the formalities, which will be followed by a brief 4-minute video. After the formalities, we'll proceed to part 2 of the programme, a less formal Q&A session of approximately 20 minutes, in which our VC and our SRC President will answer some of the questions that you, our audience, have posed to them. There are 10 hampers worth 10,000 Rand each to be won by our new students, if they can answer 2 of the 5 questions we will pose online correctly after the formal programme. The questions are about the programme, so you have to watch in order to be able to answer. Click on the red button which says Enter the Lucky Draw below the live stream video. Complete the form and submit your answers. The first 10 names of students to be drawn and who have responded correctly will be announced as winners at the end of the Q&A session, and their prizes will be couriered to them next week. Today at UP, you begin your long journey into becoming yourself. You will end this journey a different person from the one who started it. But every positive change in your life begins with a clear, unequivocal decision that you're going to either do something or stop doing something. Today is the time to start something new, and you must trust the magic of new beginnings. Open the door to a new and exciting future. Take a deep breath and step through the door into a new life. I know that as you start this adventure, you are filled with mixed emotions, excitement and eager anticipation, fear and insecurity. That is why at UP, you will not embark on this journey alone. The UP team is here to support you along the way and to help you achieve your dreams. So let me introduce you to some of them. Of course, we must start with the man who probably needs no introduction, as you will have seen and heard him on TV and radio or read his words in the press. A man whose name is now synonymous with the UP brand, our Vice-Chancellor and Principal, Professor Tawana Kupe. Professor Kupe holds a BA Honours and Master's degree in English from the University of Zimbabwe and a DPhil in Media Studies from the University of Oslo in Norway. In addition, an honorary doctorate in humanities was bestowed upon him by Michigan State University in the USA in December 2019. Prof. Kupe has held the position of Africa Co-Chair of the Australia-Africa Universities Network since 2019 and has recently been appointed as a council member and trustee of the Association of Commonwealth Universities Council in the United Kingdom, as well as a member of the National Advisory Council on Innovation in South Africa. Furthermore, he is a member of the Advisory Committee of the South African Sustainable Development Goals Policy Support Initiative, a tripartite partnership between the Government of South Africa, the German government, and the South African SDG Hub hosted right here at the University of Pretoria. Prof. Kupe has an impressive publication record in his main discipline, media studies and journalism. He's played a key role in the establishment of new and exciting innovative initiatives, both at WITS and UP. He remains an active member of several civil society organizations, including the Amabungani Center for Investigative Journalism, and he has been the chairman of the Board of Media Monitoring Africa since 2005. He has been a judge and convener of multiple major journalism awards in South Africa and is a member of the Council of the International Association of Media and Communication Research. Professor Kupe is a popular invited speaker, academic expert, and regular commentator on a variety of issues on radio, television, and in the print media, both in South Africa and internationally. I'd now like to introduce you to the balance of the executive team. You'll be happy to know that I will not give a short biography of each, but you can read these on the UP website, should you be interested. Let me start with the executive members. Professor Norman Duncan, Vice Principal, Academic. Professor Anton Streu, Vice Principal, Institutional Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation, and Acting Vice Principal, Research and Postgraduate Education. Professor Themba Musia, Vice Principal, Student Life. Professor Carolina Koornoff, Executive Director, Finance and Student Administration. And Mr. Sandile Mchani, our Chief Operating Officer. Now, the Deans. Professor Elsabe Lutz, Dean of the Faculty of Economic and Management Sciences. Professor Chika Saule, Dean, Faculty of Education. Professor Sunil Maharaj, Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, Built Environment and Information Technology. Dr. Morris Ntombeni, Interim Dean, Gordon Institute of Business Science, or GIBS. Professor Tian Diacher, Dean, Faculty of Health Sciences. Professor Vasu Reddy, Dean, Faculty of Humanities. Professor Elsabe Skuman, Dean, Faculty of Law. Professor Ntabiseng Ugude, Dean of the Mamelodi Campus. Professor Barent Erasmus, Dean of the Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences. Professor Jerry Pillay, Dean of the Faculty of Theology and Religion. And Professor Vinnie Naidu, Dean of the Faculty of Veterinary Science. Finally, I'd like to invite you to meet the President of our Student Representative Council, Ms. Lerato Ndlovu. You have already met her team in the introductory video that was played earlier this morning. I would now like to introduce introduce Professor Coupe to address you. Professor Coupe, the podium is yours.
Thank you, Professor Nicholson, for those kind words of introduction of the President of the SRC, the Deans of the University, the Executive, and myself. I want to say a warm welcome to this welcome day of all of our first years. We're really grateful that you chose UP, and today is your day, our first years, including your parents, your guardians, your grandparents, your siblings, and your friends. Choosing UP is the best decision you could ever make in your life. UP considers itself the global African university, and welcome to UP. This is a historic time, the first time in UP's 113-year history that students are being welcomed virtually. You are a group of first years who are entering the university at a time when there is a raging pandemic. Admittedly, the pandemic is now somewhat under control since the president has moved us to level 1 lockdown. COVID-19 has created an unprecedented time, and it requires all of us to be resilient. UP is a place to be. It is a top academic institution with top programs, which all of you have chosen and have now been admitted into. And on the 15th of March, you will all be starting your lectures, and you will be able to enjoy the academic program that you chose to enter. I encourage all of you to be excited despite the difficult circumstances, but also to be resilient and to have the energy to partake of our academic programs. UP is ranked in the top 5 universities in South Africa, according to the 2019 rankings in some of the major rankings that rank universities worldwide. UP is ranked in the top 100 universities worldwide in veterinary science, theology, and law. We have 55,000 students at UP, one of the largest cohorts of university students in South Africa. We are the largest producer of research in South Africa, and we apply this research and knowledge in order to shift and uplift society and make a difference in people's lives, in different communities, in different industrial sectors on our continent and globally. The majority of our lecturers are experts with PhDs, which means they can produce complicated and sophisticated knowledge that we can address, for example, towards addressing the current pandemic, COVID-19, but also future pandemics, but also other societal challenges that we might face in the area of the economy, transport, social, and economic crisis. This helps us provide a high-quality education to our students because our staff are so highly qualified. From 93% of our students are employed or furthering their studies 6 months after graduation. This is very, very important, as you know. In society, people are always speaking about whether the qualifications that a university provides enable people to have a meaningful livelihood a postgrad and to have that meaningful livelihood as soon as possible after graduation. UP is among the top 15% in agriculture, among other subjects, and including in the biological sciences and the medical sciences. We also produce 28% of all of the engineers that are produced in South Africa and 15% of all doctors. So we are the backbone, if you like, and a key element of South Africa's need to produce professionals, skilled people in order to drive our society. UP's Faculty of Veterinary Science is the only one of a kind in the South African context. And veterinary sciences are important to our agriculture, to our exports, and are important, as you can see in the picture, also to the care of those kinds of animals that are our companions, our pets, and others. In fact, recently, some of our veterinary surgeons have developed a procedure to replace and help cats whose feet or whose legs have been injured. You see, the university also provides high quality teaching and learning, including teaching and learning online. Our belief and our philosophy at the University of Pretoria is that in the 21st century, the best kind of teaching combines three elements: online, contact, that is in class, and also community engagement embedded in the curriculum and also linked to a student's development. At UP, we're able to provide this particular kind of forward-looking, future-oriented package. However, during the pandemic, we had, if you like, to transition away from the contact element because of the health situation that prevailed. But we're able to provide a credible, strong, well-supported, with strong IT infrastructure online element. This is what we will be using as the pandemic still continues, but looking forward to the day when we can return to our dream mode of teaching and learning, which is online combined with contact and also with community engagement embedded. And that way, we become one of the leading universities in South Africa to move with the times and to design teaching and learning systems that are fit for purpose and will produce graduates of the 21st century and beyond. We're a popular university because of the high quality of our programs and the high level of qualifications of our staff, our excellent facilities, our modern modes of teaching, and also the research that we do. So it is not surprising that we received over 40,000 applications for the undergraduate studies for 2021. And it is not surprising that should be very competitive, but we are taking in of those people who applied and among those who qualified, in other words, who got a bachelor's pass at appropriate APS levels, we're taking in 9,200 first years, which means we are probably taking the largest number of first years outside the University of South Africa, UNISA, which practices distance education. We also admit international students from across our continent and across the world. So we have students from over 51 countries. We also take students from different examination streams from the high school system. So we take National Senior Certificate, what people still call a matric. We also take students from the IEB, and we also take students who do Cambridge. And every year, we can see that the highest qualified students from the NSC are being admitted to the University of Pretoria. The highest qualified IEB students are being admitted at the University of Pretoria. The highest performing Cambridge students in the Cambridge examination system are being accepted at the University of Pretoria. We also have a philosophy about life and academic life at the University of Pretoria, and we call it living the UP way. Now, living the UP way has a particular sense of values and aspirations. It's about inclusion, excellence, innovation, diversity, growth, kindness, and making a difference every day. That is why our tagline is making today matter, and for research is research that matters. We also, in this UP way, believe that we must teach, learn, innovate, impact, and live the UP way. That way, you have a holistic guiding philosophy that will make you successful in life. We deliver online interactive classes, as I said, very effectively and very competently. We have a strong background, a strong IT backbone in that. In 2019 alone, we put in 100 million into our IT system, and that helped us transition to emergency remote teaching and learning online. Lectures are recorded and can be accessed post the class. So if for any reason you miss your online class, what will happen is that you can access the recording. We can also do assessments, quizzes, and other preparations, both before class and after class. 94% of our undergraduate courses have a substantive online presence. In other words, they are available online. We, as I earlier intimated, believe that teaching and learning cannot be mere classroom activities. There should be activities that are connected to our communities where we give back. So in our DNA as the University of Pretoria, both in teaching and learning and research, we aim to do something to improve society, to leave society better than it was, and we do this through our community engagement projects, which are embedded, as I say, in the curriculum. So we've got over 1,000 community projects involving more than 26,000 students annually, and we pride ourselves that we are one of the few universities, we are the only university, in fact, in South Africa that is part of the University Social Responsibility Network. Recently, in February, we actually hosted the Global Virtual Summit of the Social Responsibility Network. So our programs are globally accredited, globally credible, and comparable to the best in the world. Of course, the university is not all play, all books, all examinations, and all painstaking research that produces excellent knowledge that transforms society. Our students have a life, if you like, and their life is embodied in our culture. That culture includes being involved in sports, both recreational and competitive, but also other extramural activities, including the arts and culture and societies. So next weekend, we'll hold a similar ceremony on virtual platforms to highlight and introduce people to student culture, otherwise called Stuku, at the University of Pretoria. We also have among our students top sports stars that compete in the Olympics and other international competitions. We are also the university that has an excellent sporting facilities, including a high performance center where we use scientific research and knowledge to inform healthy lifestyles and sporting activities. UP prioritizes safety on campus. This will be a concern of many parents and students. As we know in South Africa, often sometimes crime is a major problem. So we are involved in a number of activities at the University of Pretoria that seek to enhance security on campus, but security around campus, because students often live also in accommodation that is not necessarily on the main campus and that is not necessarily belongs to the university. We also have green routes which can be used by students over the day, and a green route is a situation where our students can be accompanied to their residences and other facilities by UP security. This service is available from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning, and is monitored digitally on live screens by our security. So a lot of goes into student support. A student cannot be successful at a university if they are left to their own means. If their non-academic dimensions of their life does not get the support it needs. So for mental health and well-being, we have a UP student counseling unit which uses a range of methodologies, including contact sessions, online sessions, peer sessions, and also leverages support from other NGOs that deal with mental health and well-being. We also have our own, of course, student health services open to all of our students, where students can book for sessions and be supported. And I encourage all students who are joining this year as well as parents, to remember that there are these facilities possible when that moment of distress, that moment of troubles affects any single student. We also have, of course, a support program to enable students to finish on time and in minimum time. Because as we know, if a student does not finish on time and in minimum time, it is costly to their own progress, but it is also costly to the parents who are paying their own fees. But it also blocks the ability for other students to enter the university. So we call this Fly at UP, and I want to assure you, Fly at UP really flies. It's not like SAA that has been grounded. It is well supported, it is well funded, and it actually flies on time and can deliver you on time to your destination, which is the graduation stage, which is the job that you aspire to do. So we also have a career service for students, because ultimately at the end of the day, people enter an academic program, come to the university to enhance themselves so they are able to get into a profession, into a career, or continue a postgrad and become academics, in fact. And so our career services will guide students into what they can, what career choices they can actually make. We also have a Ready for Work program, which makes sure you can transition from the academic world, where it might be mostly theory. Depending on the program, of course, it's theory and practical activities in the laboratory, in the workplace, and so on. But we have our own well-designed Ready for Work program, which makes that transition from university to work much easier. We also understand that this is the 21st century. People do not want to leave university just to be employees. Some want to start their own companies and employ others. So we have a free entrepreneurship online course. And also, we also have an academic orientation week to help students transition into our university. So please enroll on ClickUp for the Ready for Work program. Let me also add that in May, we're going to launch a Center for the Study of the Future of Work. Because in the 21st century, the nature of work and where we work and how we work is changing. That will require us to change our curriculum, so to understand the new jobs of the future and the jobs that are coming into being. That we will provide knowledge, information, and even training programs via our Future of the Center for the Study of Work. So I alluded earlier on that students can have fun at the University of Pretoria. So we have a lot of clubs run by the students themselves. Some are sporting clubs for particular sporting disciplines. We have 10 sports academies under tax sport, for example. We also have a lot of societies that cover different endeavors of life. It's fun-filled, secure environment. We have 100 official societies, religious, political, social, cultural, and academic. And finally, not quite finally, but it is also true that at the University of Pretoria, we want people to have a fulfilling life in every respect, and also to have a voice. So the student societies do not take away from the academic focus. They link students and staff in the faculty. Also in the residencies, there's a huge support network. I am, of course, conscious that residencies are not fully open because we are in a pandemic. But in the residence space, we have structures, faculty houses and house committees, and we also have day classes. But of course, the apex of our student representative system includes two elements: class representative system within the faculty, and also the Student Representative Council, represented by Madam President Lerato, who is also going to speak to you. So faculty houses will also organize activities, sporting activities, life in the residence, produce vibrancy, and produce the kind of culture that supports both success in academics, success in societies, as well as contributes to success in life. So some faculty houses participate in competitive sporting games as well. I have already mentioned that the SRC is the highest student governance structure at the University of Pretoria. This also means, for example, that Madam President Lerato Ndlovu sits on the University Council, which is the ultimate body that governs the university, appoints the Vice-Chancellor, executives and others, together with one other SRC member, and can contribute to the good running of the university. So, as I said, the SRC represents the ultimate interests of the university, working with managers at every level, working with the Vice-Chancellor and the executive, and putting all of those issues that students need to be attended to. So, for example, I know some of you are sitting at home wondering about some of the financial issues that have arisen in this current period, including you can be sure that your SRC, if you go onto online media right now, they are raising those issues with the university management. They have also specific offices allocated to themselves in the student affairs building. So at the university, you will have to make many decisions as a student. One of the decisions you must make, which follows on you being admitted and signing on, is actually to follow your studies diligently and not to avoid your studies, to go for the appropriate level of support when you have problems, and not to stay back and, in a sense, suffer alone and suffer inwardly. We are here to support you. You must be sure you avoid things that will distract you from your studies. Drugs and alcohol, particularly excessive alcohol, will disrupt your academic life, could also contribute to ill health, and could lead you into behavior that you will regret. So be responsible and remember that we are counting on you to do the right thing. A healthy lifestyle, being involved, going to your classes, being involved in sports, clubs and societies, and eating healthily is the things that will make sure that you keep on course to have a successful life. So remember to make responsible decisions. We want you to graduate in the minimum time allocated for your degree. I said that earlier on, because it's important at so many levels. So plan and manage your time and deadlines well. Use all of the additional resources and support available to you. Some of it is online, some of it will be provided in class by your lecturers and your departments. And you will learn more about this during the academic orientation week. And don't miss the academic orientation week for anything. So make today and every day matter at UP. Be curious, be kind, be creative and responsible, be innovative. And in your journey with us, and it will be smoother. Welcome to the University of Pretoria. We look forward to working alongside you for the rest of your time at the University of Pretoria, and to see you through that stage as you graduate, and also to support you as you look for that profession and job, or if you continue your postgraduate studies, which is something that you should consider doing early on. Orientation week, as I said, very, very important. Please remember to download the app. It's very important that you attend, and also orientation weeks often makes the difference between successful transition from high school into the university environment. I'd like again to thank you very much and to say a very warm welcome to the family of the University of Pretoria, to the community of the University of Pretoria, and thank you for choosing UP.
Thank you, Professor Coupe, for your engaging presentation. Good public speaking is about good private thinking, and as always, your thinking is clear in all that you shared today. If, as Emerson stated, speech is power, speech is to persuade, to convert, to compel, then certainly you have mastered the art. Now we have a very special treat for our audience. We're about to watch a video featuring the UP Camerata performing Let the River Run. The Camerata is one of the university's award-winning choirs and is conducted by Dr. Michael Barrett, a man of singular talent. This particular performance is an international collaboration with the Barnsley Youth Choir organisation in the UK and reflects UP's commitment to internationalisation, the program, connecting with organisations across the globe, and remaining at the forefront of creative innovation even during the most challenging of times. And all of this ensuring the safety of the students and staff. So please sit back and enjoy Let the River Run.
Coming to the edge, running on the water. 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 Coming to the edge, running on the water.
Wow, I sincerely hope that you enjoyed that video as much as I did. Camerata always looking for special talent. So think about auditioning for this or one of the other UP choirs if you have a passion for singing. Now, for the students in the audience, there's one speech that I'm sure you've all been waiting for, and that is the speech by the SRC President. And so I won't delay any longer as I invite Ms. Leratu Ndlovu to address you.
Dumelang. Greetings to you all, and special greetings to you who have chosen to join us, the UP family. This day marks the beginning of a chapter and a phase in your life. You are probably filled with an overwhelming feeling of great anticipation and excitement. The excitement caged in uncertainty of how it will all turn out. However, for the first time, these feelings are not felt by you alone, but also by the UP community as a whole. There is an almost tangible newness in the atmosphere. There is a newness in our UP community, the country, and the world as a whole. These changes are mainly caused by the implications of the pandemic that recently hit us. All of these changes bring about a certain newness, which is accompanied by uncertainty, anticipation, discomfort, and excitement. But how we, as people, choose to respond to this newness matters. There are usually two main responses to newness. The first response to newness is often resistance. Resistance comes with the ideas that the old is comfortable, the old is secure. We have witnessed the old, so we have surety that it works. And we find ourselves now resisting newness and being stuck where we were. Resisting newness is also saturated with expectation that old standards, ways, habits should be upheld. Then, on the other hand, the second response to newness is the embrace of newness, seeing newness as possibility, as hope for more, and ultimately as growth of the community. It takes a transformed mind to embrace this newness. It takes a certain level of understanding and willingness to embrace this newness. And that is my charge to you, to us as the UP community. Let us unite in embracing this newness. From staff to management, from students to friends of the university, let us actively choose to embrace this newness. Now, to you who are joining the UP community, our first-year students, we say welcome. We embrace you too. The year ahead will be an exciting and different one. But through this all, I would like to challenge you to see this year ahead as a new and clear canvas, a year of opportunity to be a part of something bigger and greater. Being a part of creating something new. As you are entering this new space and chapter in your life, I would like you to begin by meditating on this quote by Rapelang Rabana, which reads, "If you don't know why you are doing it, you will battle to make the kind of long-term commitment that will see you through the challenges." She mentions two key points in this quote I would like us to focus on. She firstly addresses why you are doing it, the purpose of why you are doing it. And I would like to encourage you, as you are stepping into this chapter, take a moment, write down your why, write down your reason. Why did you make the choice to join the university? Write down your goals, your dreams, what you would like to achieve, and most importantly, what you would like to leave behind. Then, keep reminding yourself of these goals and dreams because the journey that awaits you is a challenge-filled one. But if you know why you are on the journey and you know your dreams, your goals and achievements, things you want to achieve, it becomes worthwhile and motivates you to keep going. The second part of the quote addresses long-term commitments. Once you have your why, there are certain commitments you would need to make in order to attain that why, those goals, that achievement, and the legacy you leave. Whether it be committing yourself to a certain routine, joining certain societies, investing yourself in different spaces, you will need to make commitments in order to obtain your goal. So challenge yourself in making those commitments. This is why I urge you, as you step into this institution, take time in learning about the different structures, resources, and activities in place that are there to assist you in attaining your why, your dreams, your goals, and the legacy you wish to leave behind. From academic to financial to physical and mental support, there are resources which have been put in place to help you reach your goals. Use them. Now, to the UP community as a whole, community. Yes, community. There is a certain level of power and sense of belonging that comes with living in community and knowing you form part of a community. I believe that there is no entity that can survive on its own. It is the understanding of the simple concept that I am because you are. Understanding that we have been created to live and operate in community. And because of this, we need to work together in strengthening and elevating our community. A strong or good community is not one without strife, problems, challenges, or dispute. But a strong community is one where, when these problems are raised, in our context, particularly by students, they are not hushed or dismissed, but instead they are heard, adequately addressed, and solved. Let us create a community which is accepting, inclusive, and embracing of all of its members. This year will be a short year because of the academic year starting later, but it will be an intense year. Even in the short and intense year, we need to remember that we are an important part of this UP community. And being an important part of this community means we all have a role to play. We have the responsibility to participate on all kinds of platforms, whether it be activism, policy making, governance, art, academics, and so forth. We have the responsibility of not only speaking up, but also actively helping to ensure that we create an inclusive and strong community that is truly transformed. We all have this duty to participate because we all come from different walks of life, and we need to ensure that our community reflects us all in our diversity. We ought to aim to make sure that the ones who come after us find a community, an institution that we have wished for and we wished we had when we were here. So, as I close, I would like us to take this moment and ask ourselves, what can I do? What is my role? How can I actively help in creating an ideal community and institution? In closing, earlier on the stream, you were introduced to the Student Representative Council of 2021. And from our side, we would like to leave you with a quote by an African leader named Amil Cabral, which reads, "Hide nothing from the masses of our people. Tell no lies. Expose injustices and lies whenever they are told. Mask no difficulties, mistakes, and failures." And that is the sincerity we hope and aim to lead with this year. There will be moments of disappointment, of anger, just like in any other administration. But even through this elected council will strive for true advocacy in truth, openness, and communication, driven by students' interests, compassion, and love for the student body. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ndlovu. I'm certain you are excited about working with the UP students again in 2021. And we are also excited about working with you and your SRC throughout this year. To our audience, what a wonderful role model for your students embarking on their journey with UP. So as we start to approach the end of the formal part of the programme, I just have a few announcements that I need to make. Students, please don't panic if you haven't yet completed your registration. Registration is still open online, and you should please try to complete it before the 15th of March when lectures commence. If you're unsure how to complete the process, there is a how to register video available on the Welcome Day confirmation page. Students will receive their student cards on a needs basis. First years who need to obtain a physical card will be able to use the UP Student Centre booking system on the UP portal to book an appointment to collect one. Your booking will be confirmed and you will receive an invitation to visit the Hillcrest campus for collection. Please, please do not come to the campus without a booking and a confirmation letter. This is for your health and safety. Students, your adventure begins now, and thus it is vital that you complete the virtual pre-orientation and orientation program. You'll also find the Get Up and Go week video on the Welcome Day confirmation page. And now another brief video about the UP Way, an ethos that we believe makes UP one of the top universities in South Africa and the world, and to which Professor Coupe referred in his address. It is an ethos and a vibe that characterizes what we stand for as an institution. The UP Way reflects our culture and what we do to uplift each other and our society to make today matter. The UP Way.
The UP Way is our way of life at the University of Pretoria. It's our culture of excellence and resilience. It's what we do to uplift each other and society. And it's the reason why we are proud to stand amongst the top universities in the world. At the University of Pretoria, we provide our community with excellent teaching and learning opportunities. We innovate and find solutions with research that makes a distinct impact on people's lives and helps to transform society. We harness each of our unique skills and talents to produce the most well-rounded, creative, and responsible students. The UP Way is future-focused, which prepares our students and graduates to efficiently impact their lives and our economy. Our work readiness and entrepreneurship training programs alleviates the stress of transitioning from university to the world of work. We provide all of our students with the skills and support required to plan their studies and graduate on time. We live the UP Way because it is the essence of who we are. We teach, learn, innovate, impact, and live the UP Way because our success matters.
Well, I hope that video's left you all feeling inspired. We're now coming to the end of the formal program, after which we will share another brief video about UP, and then we will reconvene for that exciting Q&A session with Professor Coupe and Ms. Ndlovu in the very hot seats. Remember to submit your answers to our questions if you'd like to stand a chance to win one of those hampers. There are 10 hampers to be won, so please find the red button that says enter the lucky draw below the live stream video. Thank you for attending this event. The functionaries will now leave the venue whilst a brief rendition of Gaudiamus Igitur is played. Please don't go away as we'll reconvene immediately after the next video is screened. This brings our formalities to a close. Thank you.
Gaudiamus igitur juvenestum sumus. Gaudiamus igitur juvenestum sumus. Post jucundam juventutem, post molestam senectutem, nos habebitus, nos habebitus.
everyone, my name is Karishma Ramdev. I graduated at the University of Pretoria in 2019 with my MBCHB. I'm now currently a medical doctor working at Charlotte Maxeke, Johannesburg Academic Hospital. I'm also a model and I did Miss South Africa in 2018 as well as in 2020. I had the most amazing experience at the University of Pretoria. I came from Durban where I knew absolutely everyone to Pretoria where I knew no one. I was so afraid and so alone, but I was in a residence called Curelitzia and I quickly came out of my shell. I made friends. I did a pageant called Miss Tuck's Varsity Cup, and that's actually led me where I am today. So I owe a lot to the University of Pretoria. Our university offers a variety of support mechanisms, not only on an emotional level where we offer mental health support to our students, but also on an academic level. If you're ever feeling stressed out and you don't know where to go, remember that we have tutors on campus who are always willing to help. We have extraordinary lecturers who will take time out of their day to teach you something that you don't understand. So don't ever feel afraid to ask for help. We've got one of the state-of-the-art health sciences faculties. We've got state-of-the-art equipment, computers, the most amazing cafeteria you'll ever see. They really breed an awesome area where you can study, where you can hang out. I loved that campus, and it's an encouraging space to make friends and essentially a family at the end of the day. You don't only come out with a degree, you come out with a support system and friends for life. I think the one thing that I wish someone told me, not only when I started university, but when I started high school, is the importance of being a well-rounded individual. It's not only about attaining those high marks. You need to try and find out who you are by doing things that you enjoy. And in that process, you will become the person you were meant to be. So have those experiences, have fun, but also work smart. I would like to inspire people by just being that example for them. If I look back at the 18-year-old that came to Pretoria, I was in my shell and I never wanted to do anything out of the ordinary. And now I'm here juggling a medical degree, juggling modeling, doing everything on the side. Don't ever be afraid to jump out of your comfort zone and try new experiences, because our university is one that will allow you to enjoy any opportunity that comes your way. They will make space for you to go and try new things and grow yourself as a person. So well done on choosing this university, because it's an absolutely incredible one.
We all see the same world, but research creates a new vision of what is and what is possible. Research is central to the University of Pretoria's vision. We strive to expand the boundaries of knowledge, to develop thought leaders, to answer global questions, and to create an impact that can change lives. A combination of high productivity and excellence has earned UP an international reputation for research that is a game changer for Africa and the entire 21st century world. What we do will shape the future. The University of Pretoria's diverse research platforms offer a launchpad for today's generation of knowledge seekers. Unlocking tomorrow's potential in the unknowns of today. Our research themes and priorities pave the way to a more sustainable and equitable future for Africa and the world. Covering topics from food security to astrophysics, health and well-being to new business, and from biodiversity to education in the digital era. Engineering 4.0 is a platform of synergy for the development of smart transportation networks where digital technologies and augmented intelligence will enable new communication networks and urban development. The ever-evolving art of Africa has found a new home at the Javits UP Arts Centre, where the deep histories and cultures of African people combine with technology to inspire new creativity. Recognizing that knowledge cannot be compartmentalized, UP champions a transdisciplinary approach. Creating Future Africa, a hub, a community, a home for African scholars, and a meeting place. A place where digital connectivity enables minds to meet without boundaries, and shared knowledge enables new solutions to African challenges. Welcome to the University of Pretoria, where we do research that matters.
Well, welcome back, everybody. I hope that you've enjoyed the videos that we showed you, both of the university as well as our new transdisciplinary platforms. Lots of exciting innovations taking place at the University of Pretoria. The purpose of this part of this morning's programme is for our Vice-Chancellor and Principal Professor Coupe and our SRC President to address some of the questions that you have posed to us. Unfortunately, due to time limitations, we won't be able to deal with every question that has been submitted, but all questions will be answered in the course of next week by our Student Services Centre. So please, if you don't get an answer this morning, you will receive an answer very shortly. Also, at the end of this session, we will announce those all-important winners of our 1,000 Rand hampers. So we're all looking forward to seeing which of you are going to be the lucky recipients of those. And those who are lucky recipients, you can expect to receive your package in the course of next week. All right, so now we're going to move on to the questions and answers, and it's my lucky duty to be the person who's going to be deciding who gets which questions. Always fun. So you'll be able to tell from the difficulty of the questions that I allocate to each of the respondents how nice they've been to me this morning. So the first question that we have received is, now that we're on alert level 1, will the classes for new first-year students be online or on campus? I think I'll send this first question to Professor Coupe just to get warmed up.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Nicholson. I think that we would all desire that all classes were online because this pandemic has kept us out of class for too long. However, unfortunately, even though we are on level 1, the pandemic has not disappeared. Infections are low, but still the situation is precarious. As President Ramaphosa announced on the 28th of February, when he moved us down from risk to risk-adjusted level 1, there are still restrictions on the number of people that can be inside the lecture room in our case, or even in open spaces. We run very large classes. The capacities are such that we cannot accommodate everybody under health conditions. There's a related concern. Not all our classes are ventilated in ways in which prevent infections in a COVID situation. However, we are striving to make sure that we can have some degree of contact classes, especially for you, our first years. So many faculties are working models where students may be able to come on a rotational basis to direct contact online classes. So not all is lost. If the situation, of course, were to improve, that we went down to non-lockdown level 0, we would actually review the situation. But as you know, in 2021, we still have to live with the coronavirus as the vaccine rollout happens.
Thank you for that, Professor Coupe. As you know, we have such strict protocols and we have to be extremely careful. Our first priority at the University of Pretoria is the health and safety of our entire UP community. And it is unfortunate that we won't be able to welcome all of our first-year students back immediately to our physical contact classes, but we look forward to being able to do that as soon as is possible.
I'm hopeful that by a year end, everybody can enjoy the facilities we have and students can meet their president in person.
Thank you for that. The next question that we've received is, when is registration for the 2021 academic year closing? This question actually was dealt with in terms of our formal presentation this morning. As you will have seen, the registration opened on the 1st of March, and it is planned that the registration will end on the 15th of March, so that our students will have time to attend to the orientation programs that are running in the course of next week. So I'm not going to send that question to either of our panelists this morning.
But allow me, if you may, Prof. Nicholson, to add something that might be a concern to students and parents. We know there are delays surrounding NEFSA's confirmations, and we are addressing those the best way we can, working together with NEFSA's and the Department of Higher Education and Training. Where delays are caused by those processes that are underway, no student will be denied registration.
Thank you for that. Lerata, would you like to add anything?
Yes, I just want to appreciate the note that the Vice Chancellor just noted, that there are currently delays and the 15th is around the corner and there's no certainty of when those delays will come to an end. So it is to ensure that students will be assisted and will be able to register.
Thank you so much. Right. The next question is around the orientation week. When will it take will it take place online or on the campus? Lerata, would you like to deal with this?
Yes, orientation week is often so excited. Looking back at my first year, it was an exciting period. Got lost a million times, but it was still exciting. And it's unfortunate that we can't have it on campus because of the pandemic, as we have noted. So we will be having orientation, and it will be online from the 9th to the 12th of March. This will allow for first years to be introduced to the different platforms which are available to assist them, into different faculties and all the relevant information from the 9th to the 12th of March. Yes.
Thank you very much. And again, let us emphasize how important it is for the first-year students to do both the pre-orientation and the orientation program. It's a very stressful time transitioning from school to university, and the orientation program is designed to make that transition as smooth as possible for all of you. So there's important information that's shared with you in those programs. So thank you very much. And if you have questions, please remember we're only a phone call or an email away. Right, the next question. When will we be allowed to move into res? Lerata, I'm going to start with you on this one.
Currently, as we speak, we have first years already coming in from late Feb, the last week of Feb. First years already coming in, and they are currently just being, again, or having the orientation, res orientation this week. Then for other students, it'll be at a later stage just to control the amount of people that come in at the same time. But placements have already happened, and students are coming in bit by bit to comply with the regulations and just for student safety as a whole.
So if I may add, just as Lerata said, so the people and residents you can only come into residence if you receive a letter confirming that you do. And as Madam President said, we're prioritizing again first years because we want them to have that experience. We all know that best people who need res and who want res often also do better as well. So in an ideal world, we would like to provide res to everybody if the health conditions allowed. But of course, we also often have shortages of accommodation. So again, prioritization actually happens. The restrictions about capacity, ventilated places, sanitization still apply to our residences as well.
Thank you for that. And just to reassure any parents or family members out there, no double rooms are being used as double rooms. Exactly. Currently, all rooms will be used for single accommodation, and that is also for health and safety purposes, although it does, of course, have a negative impact on how many students we will be able to accommodate. Now, a follow-up question on residences here. My child is on the residences waiting list. When will we get confirmation regarding placement? Professor Coupe?
Yeah, I think Lerato might know better, but I'll take a step on it. She partly answered it, as she said, well, there's a stage process. The stage process also has to do with the capacity we have. In other words, the number of rooms we have. So as I understand it, what's happening is that some people initially confirmed, but might then decline for particular reasons. Then, if you are on the waiting list and you are next, then you receive confirmation. So we can't sit here and say, on this date you will, because it's a rolling situation, as Madam President said, for a number of reasons. Key being limited capacity due to that we don't have full capacity in ordinary times. Second, capacities, as Prof. Nicholson pointed out, double rooms are now single rooms. So we can only take in fewer people. So I think my advice is just be patient. Your spot can come in. And as I understand it, Prof. Mosia, our Vice Principal for Student Life, some people have cancelled and others on the waiting list have been given a place. You're right, you might know better than I do.
Yes, and just to add what the Vice Chancellor has already mentioned is there's also private accommodations for students who can afford and do have there are private accommodations which have been made available for students. So while you're on the waiting list, take time to also look at the different private accommodations in and around Hatfield and other campuses.
Yeah. So can I add to Lerato for parents who might be worried? We do accredit some of the private residents. Accredit simply means we go and check that it's a place fit for a student to live, and with safety, the building is clean, the building is in proper and fit condition for student living, because I don't want to malign anyone. Around the university, we have found some landlords who have not been that scrupulous. And students have stayed in residences that are not fit. Then there are really private residences which are not necessarily accredited by us. But as Madam President said, affordability can be an issue there.
Thank you. I hope that's answered your questions around the residences. The next is a very important question, and that relates to the technology requirements for online studies. I'm going to start with Professor Coupe, and then I'll let Lerato pick it up from there. Yes. Thank you.
So generally, I think in part because of that we're doing all our studies online, an internet-enabled device. We say that deliberately because it could be an iPad, it could be something else. People even use their phones, but preferably a laptop is a requirement for you. But also remember, this is not just to do with the pandemic, as I said in my address. At UP, this was increasingly necessary to have, or was now a must to have, because of our hybrid teaching and learning, online and contact. So students who didn't have, when we didn't have a pandemic, for example, used our laboratories. Last year, when we had to pivot to remote emergency teaching and learning online, we assisted those students who needed a laptop and could not afford them themselves. That we were supported by some of our donors, private corporations and foundations. So really important that if you can, and that you use all means necessary to get an internet-enabled device. Because that is the device on which you're going to be taking your classes, if you like. We also, for NEFSA students, when the NEFSA issues are resolved, my understanding also this year is that some of the allowances, including book allowances, the funding can be used towards an internet-enabled device, and that the government has chosen 3 to 4, I think, providers that we can order for NEFSA students. So really, a laptop is now, or an internet device is now a necessity, a crucial element of your studies. I think the third element is simply that is where the world is going. If you are going to get a relevant education forward-looking and get those lucrative jobs, if I might put it that way, and operate in any, you will need to be a person who can do things online and use an internet-enabled device. But Lerato, you actually learn online, so and I do my work online as well, so I know I can't do it, but.
Yes, and just to emphasize on what was mentioned is in regards to for students who don't have those means, there are resources in place. There are labs, as you have mentioned, which can be used to assist students, even in residences. And also, I'm not sure if you're aware, but also private accommodations have also tried to assist students with the computer labs in those accommodations. So there is always a way, just again, emphasizing that should you need any assistance, more clarity on what has already been said, do not hesitate in contacting us, and so that we can work through it together.
Thank you. I think it's really important for our students to remember, and I don't think we can say this enough, we are a phone call or an email away. If you are uncertain or you need information, please do not hesitate to contact us. Yeah. Obviously, at this time of year, we have a very high volume of calls and queries. So sometimes you won't get an immediate response, but please be assured you will be responded to as quickly as possible. Prof. Coupe?
So I wanted to add also, for communication, we also post a lot on social media and on our website. So if you think an email, as Prof has just said, could take a little while because we don't have also, or rather we're inundated by many queries which you might not answer immediately if you like. We endeavor to answer everything as quickly as possible. But in our social media, both on Instagram, on Facebook, sometimes we do YouTube videos, all of that Q&A, no answer. So check out all of those platforms and you might be able to get the information you need without even having to call us or to email us.
Thank you. The next question we received relates to access to the library and whether or not students will be able to access the library. Professor Coupe, would you like to take this?
Yes, our libraries are open Monday to Friday as well as on Saturday mornings. But remember that going to the library is also linked to being access on campus. So if you are not here, you don't have a card yet to get into campus, you might have a problem getting to the libraries. But the principle is they are open Mondays to Fridays and on Saturday mornings. So because they're a crucial element of your studies as well. Lerato, I think you would have experienced how one accesses the library here.
Yes, you've covered those are the times from 9 to 6. Then just a thank you. This is now a thank you. Now we're speaking about libraries. Thank you to students that have been donating their prior textbooks. We got them from the library yesterday. Thank you for those, and it will also assist for those who don't have means to get more this year. Just a thank you, since now we are addressing the matter of libraries.
Thank you for that. The next question was specifically posed for the Vice-Chancellor, and that is, does the University of Pretoria offer financial aid for registered first-year students? Professor Coupe?
So the university, of course, financial inclusion is one of our aspirations as the University of Pretoria, within the means that we actually have. So remember that in the South African system, and that applies to UP, there are at least two modes of funding. Some students qualify because of family income, especially poor and working class students qualify for NEFSAS. We've just mentioned to you that we are having some glitches right now with NEFSAS, with the confirmations and so on. And we as Vice-Chancellors are actively engaging the government to make sure that is, because time is running out now and people actually want to know and people actually want to study. We're hoping that those issues are resolved early next week. Then second, people often pay for themselves. What the university has done is, well, understanding that everyone is under pressure because of COVID. The economy is not growing, people have lost jobs or even have had reduced salaries. Family incomes are just We've also organized for payments to be staggered and specific percentages of payment to be lower than usual. The university also has will support some students with limited financial capabilities when they are actually needy. There is also a limited loan scheme for people who can borrow, sign a contract, and then be able to be assisted. Also, there's another a pot of money that often comes through our donors and other foundations. They often will stipulate which categories of students should be supported. One of my jobs as the Vice Chancellor is to go fundraising for students. Already some money is coming in. It's never large amounts to cover everybody, so I just want to say to students and parents there, we don't get enough to cover everybody who would like to, but we get some and we allocate to students. The whole idea is to use as many routes of or sources of income as possible to cover students who are in need. So for example, we also have money donated by some foundations like MasterCard, the Dale Foundation, for students who have attained very high marks. So last week, for example, we had a similar ceremony like this for the Vice Chancellor's Distinguished Merit Awards. Part of it is funded by the university. Then we're also going to do next week the MasterCard Foundation students and the Dale students. So the bottom line is the following. Where we can, we will assist with the means that we have.
Just to add on to that, I'd just like to encourage all students to apply for UP financial aid. That's on your portal. You do have access to that. Apply. Then assistance, when it is there, it is given to students. So just an encouragement that we should all do that.
Yes, absolutely. I fully agree with the President.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we're rapidly running out of time, so I'm going to just deal with one last question. All other questions, as I have said, will be answered in the course of next week. I'm an international student. Do I need a visa to study at UP? Lerato, seeing as this is a student-related question, I'm going to invite you to respond first.
The answer is yes, but also just to take note that during lockdown, the visas were extended to the 15th of March. So if you still have that, will only expire. The expiration date was extended to the 15th of March. So if you do have that, it's still valid to work. Then yes, to answer the student, yes, you do.
Yeah. So just one thing, Lerato, is 31st of March, actually. Just another two. The opening of the lecture. Well, it's only 2 weeks later.
Yes,
but also, I think what's happened is that I understand that Home Affairs have said, Home Affairs offices and VFS, where you normally apply for visas, if you have a receipt from those offices, you are also allowed to register and be an international student. I think they're trying to deal with the disruptions caused by the pandemic. Typically in the old days, as the President correctly said, yes, you need a visa, but because of the special circumstances, there's been that extension and then the use of a receipt to be able to register. I think that will help a lot, yeah.
Well, thank you very much to both of our panelists, Professor Coupe and our President of the SRC, Lerato Ndlovu, for responding this morning to some of these questions. As I said, the rest will be answered by our Student Services Centre in the course of next week. Now, I'm sure that some of you have sat through the entire programme with only one interest in mind, and that is whether or not you've won one of those special hampers that were up for grabs. So I'm now going to share the names of the winners. The winners are So ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our Q&A session. It brings us to the end of this Welcome Day event. You are all so welcome at the University of Pretoria, and we're really excited to meet you in person. Thank you again to Professor Coupe and Ms. Ndlovu for joining us in the studio this morning. Thank you to our studio team for all their hard work, and to our photographers. I'm sure that you'll be seeing lots of footage of this event in the next week or so. And then a special word of thank you also to the members of our Department of Enrollment and Student Affairs and our Department of Institutional Advancement, who've worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make this event possible. Thank you all very much, and please enjoy the rest of your day, and please enjoy your time at the University of Pretoria. Thank you.
Tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. A seed planted today takes root and grows into a tree that bears fruit in the future. Over 110 years ago, a seed was planted. Today, that seed, the idea of excellence, has grown into the University of Pretoria, South Africa's largest contact research-intensive university. 9 faculties and a business school are spread across 7 beautiful campuses, which are home to over 50,000 students, ready to make an impact in the world beyond university and join our global network of nearly 300,000 alumni. Future-focused, sustainably developed facilities and cutting-edge multi- and transdisciplinary research are underpinned by a desire to transform lives and have a positive impact on communities and the world. Excellence in teaching, learning, research innovation, arts and culture, and sports puts us firmly amongst the world's best universities. Knowledge is not just what is in books, it is the wisdom to apply it, to nourish and nurture the seed so that it takes root, grows tall, bears fruit, and branches out. UP plants that seed, that tiny bit of curiosity, creativity, critical thinking, hope, the desire to care, respect, help, and innovate against all odds, to grow, to leave your mark, to excel, to challenge the norm, to think, to rethink, to discover, to inquire, to lead, to have courage, to make a difference, and to persevere. This is the University of Pretoria. We make today and every day matter.